What is up, people? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are hanging our doors. They are hung in a way. So I'll show you my plan of action. So, bink. The doors are actually semi-on. And we'll get to that in a bit because you're not going to see. The door hinges are actually on. So what I've done at the minute is I've been placing the body where I want it to try and gain as much forward space as we can. So this front end can sit, about there, yeah? Both sides, if it keeps falling off. So it's got to be, about there. But I know my rocker cover is touching here. We are pivoting on the rocker cover. Yes, at the minute we are probably, I think we've tried your seat better. We are a touch on the down tilt. So this can come up a fraction. But I think what I'm going to have to do is get Les at Custom Minis to modify this somehow. He said to me, he said he can chop this bulge out and raise it or do whatever we need to do. But if I can get it to where that's touching and in the right place, then I know it's minimal, the amount of work we need to do. We've got to do something here anyway, because the throttle bodies. So the front end will be modified by Custom Minis to the needs that we need. So we are equal length from that end of that tyre to that rim on this car is 173.5 on both sides. So my wheelbase is bang on. Even though I've set the caster, it's ended up right, which denotes measurements came out where we need it to be. So we're roughly, the front end is there. Now to make that front end be there, I have had to move the body forward a touch. Because the further back the body goes, as that bonnet there's at an angle, it was bringing the bonnet over. So I've had to keep nudging the body forward to get the front end the best as I can get it, where it doesn't look fucking retarded. Sorry about the language. So what I've ended up with is, you see this tube? This tube was supposed to be hidden behind this pillar. So this was further back. I wanted it so all you could see was this bar. But now this bar is showing because I've gone forward. It's not that much of a big deal, really. Yeah, you can see a bit of bar. It's not the end of the world. But I built this chassis to such tight tolerances to push everything out the way. This gap here, right, both sides now, because it's supposed to be behind the crest of this tube, that door frame, both sides, have got to have this stuff on. But now this won't fit because I've moved the body forward and the cage is so tight, we are right up against the body. So I'm going to have to come up with some way of doing that at a later date. So yes, we have come forward a bit to get the front end to work. Now I'll take the front end off and we'll move on. So these hinges are the unmodified ones. So the door is roughly where it needs to be. If you look, it's too far out here, too far out here. So this hinge needs to go in on this side or in out on that side to bring this door in. Because these was a bit of a wild guess. I used this steel door to mock up, but it's never quite, rocket science. But we are nearly about right. This door needs to come back at the top, right? It needs to roll a little bit, which denotes this here isn't plumb square true, but being fiberglass, the odds of it ever being are minimal. This side it is better. We are nice and true. Probably about where it needs to be. Could have been a little bit further in. And these are the removable hinges. Now they work. It comes on and off. I've got it strapped at the minute. They do come on and off, but what I do need to do is change the tolerances. The tolerance on these pins to the holes in the black thing is so precise. You have to sort of push it on and pull it off. It doesn't lift off smoothly, if you know what I mean. But it does. You're not going to... See? It moves. Yeah? It does come on and off. It's just I'd like that couple of thou more clearance in there just to make it ease fitting. So what we are going to be doing now is normally from this bar you'll have a plate come out and this attaches to it. Well, now I've moved the body forward, those surfaces are no longer in line. So we need to make some panels for this to connect this to that. So what we're actually going to do is this area here, I'm going to chop it off down the back there. Yeah. So then these hinges will attach directly to the steel, which is going to be like this kind of shape here. And then on the inside, there's going to be another piece of steel that's like that. So it's like, comes across to the back, out. And then there's going to be another one that comes across, out and around. So it's a bit boxy, a bit like a standard A-pillar on a Mini. But doing that eliminates the flex or, you know, out of squareness of this panel. And if we needed to, you wouldn't have to take doors off to take the body off. You could just pop the screws out of here. There's going to be 3 screws and the body would slide away and leave the door panel hinge all there. So we need to make a panel to fit in there. But I also need to work out how high I want to go with the panel. Because this has got to be a firewall, like solid firewall. So I need to work out where that panel's going to finish and how it's going to block off all this gap. Whether this panel just comes up to, say, the bottom of here, and then this panel comes out and attaches to the body here somewhere. You know, all of this technically has got to be enclosed. So it's a more of a tricky panel than you would expect. There's going to be some bends. Luckily, this is just a straight shot down. So I'll start off with a flat piece of steel and then bend a 90 degree, which will be across this back section, straight to the cage, cut to the desired shape of the cage, and then that one will just fit in. So that panel shouldn't be too bad. And this panel, really, it's just a flat with a couple of little bends in it, maybe even a 45. And then, you know, just to triangulate it a little bit more. But yeah, that is what we are going to be doing, or what I'm going to be trying to do. And I've also got to remember airflow. This bulkhead isn't going to be all squared off and 90 degrees. It's going to flow air. So basically, the way I'm designing it is any air that gets past the engine is flowed out the side of the car. Do you know what I mean? So that's another thing we've got to take into account. So I'm going to start knocking up some templates and see where we can get. Because I really could do with a positive fixture now on the body. So that is, I think, what we're going to be doing. Positive fixture on the front. And then we can move back to the door locks that still haven't been brought. But yeah, we'll get to that. All right, so I've knocked up this quick bit of a template, which goes up inside there a little bit. So this is, it's rough, but it's to the cage. I've left a little bit of trimming that can happen. And we've got a 25mm step. That goes up, so that's going to come over to the top. Don't know what I'm going to do up there yet. And then this is what's going to replace this edge. So this will get chopped off, but I put that there first because I want to sort of mark these holes. I know they're not quite in the right place, but we can drill them, and then this plate can move slightly if we need to. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's going to be what we're going to make. But I've made this template, and what I'm going to do is flip these bends the other way. Try on the other side. But I've got to take the door off, because I have to take this door off. So what I'll do is I'll trace this out first onto, this is 1.5mm, which I think once doubled for the lip will be way strong enough. It's going to hold the door really secure. I could go less, 0.8mm. Sorry. I could go 0.8mm. But this really, if you ever feel the door hinge panel on a normal Mini, they are quite strong. So I do want to keep a bit of strength there. Do you know what I mean? I mean, technically, this could always be a road car, kit car. You know, it's just fiberglass bodied chassis. Oh, the wife's coming, people. The wife's coming. Look, here she comes, look. Oh dear, busted. Ryan, so we had the template, which I made up, and I cut one out. I've bent it, and it sort of fits. It's not that bad. Do you know what I mean? So we've got a nice straight line. We are following the cage pretty well. That gap there is because this needs to go further up slightly. I just made it a touch long. So we've got that shape up in there. And I'm thinking that this is going to get a piece here somewhere. So we are level with that. Now, the issue there being, it looks nice, but it's not right, because I want this to replace this. And this here is pushed up. This here is pushed up against the glass, and that there is pushed up against the glass. So this section here, which at the minute is 26mm, needs to be less by the thickness of this, probably 1.5 mm. So then this will become this. So yeah, this was like more of a bit of a trial fit to see if it was going to work. And I think it's going to work. I may even go a touch longer to bring us up more to halfway onto this tube. Then this here will more than likely be infilled somehow. Don't quite know yet how, but it's going to be. Oh, postman, I think. I'm going to have a look. No, it's only the wife. Fine, so that's about right. So now what I'll do is I'll take that off, retake some measurements, make the changes to the next one. We'll go from there. Right, people. Well, it's been about a week. Right? So we're a little bit all over the gaff. So this was the one originally that I made. Remember, that went here, but it was slightly wrong. It was too sticky outy. So this is the new one. It's basically identical, but this back edge here is now 23mm instead of 26mm. If you look on now, I've cut that off, so that's gone, and the plate is on. So this is now replacing the fiberglass that was there. So this will get fixings along here. So that is that part. Then once this is welded in, there's going to be a secondary one, which is going to, so all this will get welded up. I'm going to work on the top a little bit because I need to come up with the final design on the top. This is probably going to get changed here. Probably going to add a top to this. This has still got to be shaped, but I might put something to slot that up just to put it down. But then this is going to have another piece on, which is going to come across here and to the cage there to triangulate that off. Yeah. So then this will become much stronger because we've got a square section inside, and this will be twice as thick, so this will end up 3 mil. Before we put the door on, I put the markings off the fiberglass bit on there basically. So that is that one, and this one is the same. Got this one to the same stage, but there's no weld going to be down here because the bottom of this is all going to get cut off, isn't it, for the exhaust. So I've just been talking to the exhaust builder, and we reckon we're going to put a 5-inch can here. So this is probably going to come up about 7 inches. Yeah, so this step will be up about here. So now we've got the door hinges in place where they work, but this hinge is going to have to move up. So probably retain this hole, put the new one here, get rid of the bottom one. You know, just something that we have got to look into, that this whole section is going to be gone because you've got to get the pipes around to get exhausted. So yeah, they are on nice and square, trim back. I think this one needs a touch more trimmed off it. I want a gap between this and this seat. So yeah, we've got them two on. I just remade that scrap one. I'll keep it because now I've got this, even though it's slightly wrong, I can use this to start making the template for the other one. So I can work out from there to there the angle, and then that angle will try and come down to the tube, if you get me. Right then, I'll end that video here because it's been dragging on now and I just haven't got the time in the day. So the next one, we'll be doing a bit more on these pillars. We've also got to finish the gear selector. And what else? Oh shit, my calipers have come, look. Look, finally we have calipers. Now these are much bigger. Hang on. These are actually bigger than the ones I sent back in this dimension, because these are the race ones. Yeah, the R126 is like the lightweight road. This is the RS, which is the race. So they are quite a bit bigger. So now we can try this on there. So probably in the next video we'll plod on with the brakes, and there's another issue that we need to talk about, but we'll do that in the next video. So thanks for watching. I can't even remember, it's been that long since I started this video. I just remember doing these things. I know the videos get a bit scarce, but I'm just so busy doing other things at the minute that I'm being careful where I'm putting myself, because I'm running out of time. I'm doing my normal 8-hour job, then coming back and doing business stuff, and then coming in here and doing this. But I need this space for a job I got coming in, and it's piling up, people. So thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.